Warning, warning, warning.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49 live on Bucsreport.com every Tuesday at 3:30. And you know what time it is. You know it's 3:30 when you look at your watch. It's time to pick up your phone and tune into Sports Talk 49, that is. I am your host, Mr. Blake Anthony, and I'm here to bring you some news and stuff, what's going on. You know, I get on here every Tuesday. Sometimes I got to catch up. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes news stuff comes out. It's all interesting and fun here. I have my Bucs Report all the time. Trying to have fun while being the best, you know what I mean? And Sports Talk 49 and Bucs Report is brought to you by our sponsor, mycannabiscard.com, and the official sports bar of Bucs Report. That's the Deck Bar and Grill of Isla del Sol. My Cannabis Card is Tampa Bay's cannabis clinic. Their cannabis clinic network is among the broadest in the nation and was developed to make your cannabis card as easy and stress-free as possible. My Cannabis Card effectively links new patients with the closest state-licensed medical marijuana doctor near them, while also saving them up to 30% on evaluation costs. Just mention Bucs Report. And there you have it. I'm Blake Anthony, and this is my show. We'll put on my co-host, Allison. She'll be on here shortly, but we're just going to get through the preliminary process. As I always do, giving a shout out to all my BR members here that give 110%, 365. Here you go. Make sure to check out later. You got Al Keck show, and you got Peter Blake and the Sports Web on tonight. And then, of course, you got all the other great shows tomorrow. Ask Me Anything, Nick Citro, The Audible, and again, the Sports Web wrapping up the night. But I couldn't get through that without giving the homies a shout out. You know how it goes. What's going on, the guys? I got a name for you guys in the chat group. I thought long and hard. And I said, I know Peter's got the web heads. We got Alcast, got the Keckers. You guys are the 49ers with Sports Stock 49ers. I know. Not the San Francisco 49ers. You're my 49ers. And I appreciate you guys always. So let's get through the preliminary process here. Well, we got through that. We gave a shout out to everybody. I'm on here. So let me get to this. Let's get to what we got to talk about. We'll talk about, I'll say the Leonard Fournette for when Allison jumps in. I'll talk about the trouble in the Big Easy with Alvin Kamara and the disconnect in New Orleans. I kind of I think I've said to a couple people in a couple groups and stuff like that I predicted. I was ready to say the Saints won't win 10 games. I'm still pretty close to that. I haven't quite committed to it yet. But I just felt like there was some disconnect ever since the Drew Brees incident. I know that a lot of the players say it had nothing to do with it and things like that, but a lot of people say things on camera they don't really mean. So it's just that it's the Alvin Kamara thing really solidifies what's going on down there in New Orleans, and I really think there's some real serious disconnect. I'm not sure if it's contract related or other issues going on there, but that's one of them. I don't know if they're going to get the money to pay him. I guess they can forward it next year and guarantee him that he's going to have some money and things like that. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I'm just on the fence of really almost committing to 9-7 for the Saints. But right now, I still got them at 10-6. I haven't really committed to it yet, but I don't think they'll have the success everyone thinks they are. Everything is not really transparent from season to season, unfortunately, in the league, and a lot of people know. I know a lot of people realize that, and it's the same thing with the Buccaneers having one of the best run defenses in the league. You think teams aren't going to adjust to what we're doing or what Tampa Bay is doing from year to year. They're just going to stay the way they are. No, of course not. Just like the Buccaneers aren't. You upgraded offense. You got a quarterback in there that's not has a propensity, Leo word, to turn the ball over and things like that. So it's really interesting how things change from year in to year out. Allison, let me make sure to send her the link and make sure she gets in here. Allison, it should be in the your box. You should be able to click on it if you scroll up. I know we were talking about articles and things like that. If you scroll up, the link should be there. What's going on? Stun, Lightning and Bruins. Oh, trust me, we'll get to there. I said, honestly, I can't wait to play the Islanders. Christopher Cole, what's going on? Glad you're listening to me, Chris. Have yourself committed. Oh, you must be talking about the Saints. Rick, I don't know. I just think that there's some real disconnect there in New Orleans. And I kind of sensed that coming into the offseason this year. I wasn't sure on it, but I'm just really close to saying that. With Drew Brees as well. I mean, Drew Brees' arm strength really isn't an issue. He can still get the ball where it is. I think teams just got to adjust to it. I guess I really want to go into it, but I'm not going to go into it until it's really closer to week 1, and I'll talk about what I really got going on with the Saints and things to do to stop. I know Ricky Reynolds was on Peter's show and talked about it, and things like that. Moving on to the next thing. I'm sure we'll come back to it when Allison jumps on. Tampa's kicking off in a new direction. What I mean by that is this man, Ryan Suckup. Per Greg Allman, Ryan Suckup agreeing to terms with the Bucs. He is 33 years of age and is a career 82% field goal kicker in 11 seasons with the Chiefs and Titans. He's fully recovered from knee injury that injured him last year. So per Bill Barnwell, Ryan Suckup will be Tampa Bay's 9th kicker since the start of 2015. The league's average is about 83.9% of their field goals over that time frame. Not a single one of Tampa's 8 kickers have topped that mark. Combined, they've hit 73.7% of their kicks. And here's a stat of that. I'll leave it up there for a second so you guys take a look at it. You can block my face. I know I'm not that pretty to look at. So that's why I bring Allison on here. She's a little easier on the eyes than I am. And that's what that is with that. And I also got an exclusive video posted by Ryan Suckup himself kicking 60-yard field goal. So if you thought the knee was an issue, it shouldn't be. And while we're doing that, I'm going to work on getting Allison in here while we're showing that video of Ryan Suckup. Check this out. And also, make sure to follow me on any of my social media feeds at BlakeAnthony49 as seen right here. There it is. Check out this Ryan Suckup video.
60 left.
As you can see, Ryan's his knee injury is not an issue. He's kicking 60-yarders. From what I hear in camp from Nick Citro, our Twitter handler, our draft analysis guy, he kind of beasted down there at Raymond James, and they're kind of doing what I was saying on Rick's show. Not Rick's show, Rick and Peter, with Rick and Peter on air. I was like, they don't need to be kicking indoors. They need to be kicking outside, like outside in Raymond James in the south end zone every day. You don't need to be kicking inside that dome. If outside and that spiral wind is the issue, that's where you need to be kicking, because that kicking in that dome does you no justice. And that's what they've been doing. As far as what Nick Citro reported, Ryan Suckup kind of stole the day out there. And as Arian said, he wanted somebody consistent, and it looks like they got their guy thus far. No contract details have been out yet, but we'll see that later. For right now, it seems like that's their guy, and maybe they put Matt Gay on the practice squad or sit him on the sideline and keep him for later. Who knows? It's going to be interesting with these roster spots. But speaking of roster spots, who I got on my roster right now is Mr. Allison Killshot Koehler. Come at Allison in the lobby here, and I'm going to bring her on here in a second. Give me 1 second, guys. There she goes.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Mike.
Hey, what's going on? Glad to have you.
Thank you. Yes, Miss Allison Koehler.
So how are you doing today?
Called me Mr. again, and that's okay. But, just so the audience knows, I'm Miss, not Mr. But you got the last name right on the second one, so I'm very excited that we're all getting better.
We're progressing.
Yes. I'm glad to see, or glad to hear rather, that Ryan Suckup is not sucking it up. You like that?
Yeah, you did. I like your little play on words there.
Thank you. I try.
We talked about, I know you got stuff going on, and I guess got a little stuff, like some other stuff to go on. And I know me and you talked about doing division winners for NFC and AFC plus playoffs, which is going to be fun to see what you come up with, see what I come up with. So the only thing we talked about that you missed was, I didn't touch Leonard Fournette yet. I skipped that. I talked about the trouble in Big Easy, and we're talking about Alvin Kamara. What do you think on that? I'll say it again what I thought, but I want to hear what you got.
Yeah, I was really surprised to hear about that yesterday. Obviously, everybody's got their reasons for wanting to sit out, especially when it comes to money. Hopefully they'll get it squared away. There's not much time to do that. But obviously, they know his worth to the team, and they really just need to appease him because he's an integral player. They can't really do what they want to do without him. So I think that they're just going to have to, and I'm sure they're in the process of figuring that out right now as we speak, but they're just going to have to bite the bullet and take care of whatever issue is looming and keeping him, away from the facilities.
Absolutely. I know it's not prominent to football, but it's a psychological of players. I know he had issues. He had some girlfriend on Instagram. He had issues with that, and she's had some type of meltdown, and she was talking about questioning his manhood and things like that. And then now he come out with this contract issue. I know sometimes some players are psychological. I don't know. Like, to me, I just felt a disconnect with that team coming in the offseason this year, and it kind of started with the Drew Brees thing. Not to say, I talked to Ben Jarvis. He's from New Orleans, and he believes that it won't affect it much. The guys that are motivated, they'll stay motivated, and it shouldn't affect them. But it's just me personally. I just really feel a down year, like, as Rick said in the comment section. I just feel a disconnect with that team. And then Drew Brees, everybody knowing his arm strength issues. Like I said, I want to really get into that. That's part of my breakdown on week 1 about his arm strength and play calling. But Alvin is an intricate. I agree, is an intricate part of that offense. It helps that he doesn't have to throw elongated throws because of the shoulder or because of the arm strength, as we just mentioned. And it kind of goes. His play kind of helps him out, and I don't think you're going to get that kind of production out of Murray that you would get as far as receiving as you would get out of Kamara.
I agree.
All right, don't want to beat that one too down because it's the Saints, and I really like talking about them too much, but I had to get that out the way.
Yeah.
Now, let me talk about suck up. Well, I should say, yeah, according to Nick, he said he killed it outside. He went out there and dominated the day, and that hence why that was so quick that they gave him the contract. I don't know if you saw the video. I played a suck up kicking 60-yard videos, 60-yard kicks outside, booting them right through with ease. And they seem to do the same thing out there and outside at Raymond James. Do you think that's really important that they kick those outside instead of inside, since that south end zone seems to be an issue?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree. You need to be, the kickers need to be kicking in the environment in which they're going to be kicking. I mean, there's no way around it, because obviously if you were to kick indoors, and it just didn't, they're kicking outside in Tampa Bay, so that's where he needs to be doing it. And like you said, in that tricky end of the end zone, the fact that he was, doing with it.
They're perfect.
Yeah. It's definitely a good sign. And I figured that had to be the case when I saw that they tried him out and then they signed him, like 5 minutes? It seemed like
it was so quick, wasn't it?
Right, exactly. So, so I knew that he had to have had a great workout. So.
And I think the other part with that, why they did it so quickly, that if I could call you, like, hey, Allison, can you come out here and try to kick out for the team? Sure, I'll be down there in 6 hours. All right, we're down there. You come out there off the plane because the airport's not far from Raymond James. You come right out there. I'm sure this is exactly what happened. Came right off the plane, came right on down there. Hey, can you go out there and kick a couple field goals for us? He went out there, kicked the field goals, and they was like, oh, if he can do that off rip just like that, that's what we need. So there you go. I kind of got to agree with him. If you can kick on such kick that well at such short notice, I don't see why you couldn't handle it in pressure situation, because that is kind of pressure. You come right off the plane and come kick the field goals, and then you get signed a contract shortly thereafter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to remember kickers are people too.
Yes.
And even though we tend to look down upon them, the fact that he was still ready, like all football players, all free agents, everybody on the street, they want to remain in shape, because it could just be a moment's notice, like it was with Brian Suckup, that they get the call and they have to be ready. They can't be all like fat and slobby and not in game shape, because that's a career.
I agree. They can't look like me. They got to come out there and look. They gotta come out there and look good and perform good. As Deion Sanders say, you look good, you play good. You play good, the pay is good.
It's very true.
And that is very true right there. Is exactly what you said. You got to be ready at the drop of a dime, and he was ready, and it showed it. So so we talked about suck up. Talk about that. Oh, let's get to the good old conversation right here. Peter and them got into it. Rick, should the Bucs sign Leonard Fournette, and do you got any ideas where Leonard Fournette might go? I know you showed me earlier that you wrote an article on it. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually it's about, we're 10 minutes away from teams being able to officially claim Fournette off of waivers. It's 4:00 today is when it begins. So from what I understand, there are multiple teams that are chomping at the bit, for their chance to sign Leonard Fournette. I did put together an article that has 7 potential landing spots, which you can find on touchdownwire.com. So it's 7 potential landing spots for Leonard Fournette. The first one I actually listed, and we will get to the Bucs because they are on this list. The first one I mentioned is kind of interesting, because the first potential landing spot is no one. Because what could happen is that, basically Fournette has the luxury of waiting it out. There's going to be teams that are going to need his services when their starter goes down early in the season. So he could either, if he doesn't like what he sees in terms of the teams that are interested in him, he can just wait, because there will be a team that is going to sign him if they aren't going to do it today or in the next couple of days. And after week 1, the contracts aren't specifically Fournette's contract is no longer guaranteed. So if a team signs him after week 1 and they need to release him for whatever reason, the team doesn't have any more financial responsibility beyond what they've paid him already. So any team that signs him is basically going to have that. They're going to inherit that $4.167 million salary, which seems like a lot of money to you and me. But to teams, that's actually a really great value, especially for the kind of talent that he brings. I mean, he's no longer great on the ground, but he's also an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield. So the issue with him is that he's been in and out of the doghouse. He's been suspended a couple different times, and he has injury concerns. Last year, he played 15 games, which was, I believe, the most he's played in a season. And he logged just under 1,200 rushing yards. So and 552 receiving yards. So that's a really great value that you're going to get for Leonard Fournette. The second team was the Chiefs, because the Chiefs, they have all the weapons that they need already to repeat. I mean, they're set up nicely to do it again this year. And obviously they have running backs. They have Clyde Edwards-Helaire or whatever that guy's name is.
You got it right.
And Fournette will just be an additional piece that they could use. The New York Jets, they're having some drama with Le'Veon Bell. They made
Shocker.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They made an attempt last week to pick up Kalen Ballage, running back from the Dolphins, but he failed his physical. So he's not a Jet. So beyond Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore, they're super thin. There's nobody depth-wise beyond Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore. And Frank Gore is like 1,000 years old. Don't get me wrong. He can still do it. It's amazing. I'm just like, wow, he's still doing it. Okay.
That was awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I think do you think the Jets are trying to clear up cap space by moving Bell to bring in somebody else? And if you think so, who?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it seems like he just doesn't fit. There was rumors coming out of camp that the Jets think that Le'Veon Bell is slow. And it's like, where have you been? Like, Le'Veon Bell has never been a fast runner. More than anything, he's known about being patient, stepping, finding that hole, waiting, you know what I mean? To find that hole. He's not a fast runner. So the fact that if they are saying that he's slow, like, you should have done your due diligence before you say guy. If you're looking for a fast guy, Le'Veon Bell is not it. So I really don't know. That's why I kind of feel like, the Jets could be a landing spot for Fournette because, he's a bruiser. So he sort of fits the system that they're looking for. So we'll see. Number 4, I have the Steelers, which you and I talked about. I don't see him going there, but crazier things have happened. The Steelers certainly could use a running back like Leonard Fournette. Again, he's a bruiser, and the Steelers are all about bruising backs.
Yep.
The only concern there is that Fournette has an injury history, and so do 3 of their other running backs right now. So I don't know that would really fix anything. Number 5, I have the Patriots. 6, 49ers. Finally, 7, I have Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Although I listed them, it's not necessarily in any particular order. So the Bucs, that would be an interesting spot, I think, for him to go, because Ronald Jones, he's shown flashes, but I don't really know he could be that the guy. I feel like Fournette has shown when he
do it.
That he could be the guy.
And speaking of the guy, we got the dude that just jumped in here that wants to chat in here with us.
Cool. Hey, the dude.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Keith.
Everything going good over there? Hey, Blake. You want me to let you in on a secret?
All right, go ahead. I got my ear up to the mic.
All right, you see where Allison is right now?
Yeah, I see her.
I've totally been in that room, dude.
Oh. You're not supposed to say that on air. Now everybody knows.
And let me tell you, her Steelers memorabilia rivals only only the co-inhabitant of her household's memorabilia. We won't say any names.
Yes. Yeah.
but let me point out something real quick. Hey, first of all, we are live on Bucs Report, not on one platform, not on two platforms, not on three platforms, 4 platforms, baby. That's 4. Hey, I'm not here to hijack your show, but I am here to take a few shots, not shots of a White Russian drink, because I've already had a couple of
my favorite.
But I will say this. Hey, if you pay for votes, you're not getting votes. And if you continue to whine on Facebook, I'm going to have to come down to Spring Hill.
Oh, man.
Anyway, Blake, as usual, man, great job, brother. Allison, more you and less of me is a better thing on the air. That's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Allison, who is expanding her horizons, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Yep. I do give her a big, huge, the dude middle finger for continually holding up that Starbucks coffee in front of me. You suck.
She just
actually tea, if that helps.
I need a barista. But Blake, great job on the Feeding Tampa Bay project, brother. There are people that sleep at night with a full belly because of you, and you don't get any credit for that. So I'm here to give you that credit.
I appreciate it.
We already know what you do in your real job, which is above and beyond what anybody should have to deal with. So we won't talk about that. Let me just say, though, as far as show hosts go, I have to say that bald, black, beautiful head of Blake's is the most handsome of all on Bucs Report. And Allison, I mean, we love you to death. Screw the Steelers. But I can't read your shirt today, Allison. Usually I can read your shirt. What kind of shirt you got on today?
Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, I'll allow it. Hey, Joe. See what I did there? Hey, Joe. Jimi Hendrix.
That was nice. I like that.
Okay. All right. Great job today, man. Like I said, I don't want to hijack your show. Just wanted to come give you some love, give you a shout out. I want to throw in here, though, because if I don't promote the sponsors, they won't be sponsors. So let me do that real quick. First of all, the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol. Make sure you join us there for every Bucs game. Watch party, pregame, halftime, postgame, giveaways, food special, and, of course, the beautiful people that work at Bucs Report. We can't forget Auction Champions out there selling and auctioning off some of the best sporting memorabilia, autographed and otherwise. And everybody on this show's favorite, mycannabiscard.com. They will fast track you to get your cannabis, clinical, marijuana card. All you got to do is click the link, go to the website. Heck, we're going to have a phone number for you to call, and we can put you on directly with doctors who will evaluate you, who will determine whether or not medical marijuana will suit your needs. Now, Blake, you've got another side project coming up. I'm not sure if you're ready to talk about it, but I'm going to go ahead and here and sweat you to talk about it, or at least give everybody a general idea of what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. It's no secret. It's something that everybody should have been getting involved with from the beginning. And it's just the importance of everybody and getting their voice out and voting, making sure you're registered. I'll provide some of the information where to do that and how to set up that all up and where your testing sites are and things like that. So it's important to get your vote out there, and I'll have a little commercial and everything ready, just like I did for the Feeding Tampa Bay.
And as far as Feeding Tampa Bay, we don't want numbers because that would come across as bragging, but let's just say we thank everybody that did help. Allison, we always thank you because you're Allison. That whole black and gold thing, we're going to let that slide for a minute.
At least it's not black and gold Saints.
True.
Well, if it was, if it's black and gold Saints, the Bucs have as many rings as the Saints do, so it's a tie. But we won't bring up the 1970s and the Steelers, damn it. But hey, again, thanks a lot, man, for doing the show. As always, Blake, out here in the middle of the day on an island like Revis, just covering it for the Bucs Report. And Allison, you are now officially a regular. Should we call you a co-host? You look like a co-host. You sound like a co-host. With all those pretty post-its in the background that I am damn sure trying to read. You definitely come across as a host / reporter / journalist. So, hey, for all you people, most of you are Bucs fans, but if you're not, Allison will let you know what's going on with the Steelers. She puts out great content. That's all I'm going to say about that because I don't know any else besides that. Again, Auction of Champions, the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol, mycannabiscard.com, and coming soon, a couple new ones, maybe even for this show here. But that said, tune in tonight to the Al Keck Show at 9 p.m. with host Al Keck and his special interview with Jim Levitt, former USF Bulls football coach. And then after that, it's everybody's All-American boy. Well, All-American boy with a vicious beard. He is the P to the E to the T to the E back to the R. Peter H. Blake, the Sports Web, brought to you live by mycannabiscard.com. Tonight, I don't know who his guests are.
Might be Allison. Who knows?
Might be. I don't know. Yeah.
If we don't get and book him some guests, it's going to be 3 hours of Peter and the Dude, and nobody wants to say it. Nobody. Now, before I get off, I got a trivia question for you. It has nothing to do with sports. You ready?
Go for it.
The Dude is known as an excellent bowler. He's known as a drinker of high-quality adult beverages, a smoker of the earth's herbs. Okay? What other definition is the word dude?
But
no. Blake?
Well, if you look up dude, it's a butt.
It is also has something to do with an animal that has a trunk.
Oh, an elephant.
An elephant's what?
Butt.
Thank you. So therefore, that makes me the largest asshole on the planet.
Oh my God.
I am the dude. Sorry for the cussing, but this is PG-13. Allison, you win the prize. The prize is that now I get off screen and you guys can continue your show. Thank you very much.
That's the best prize ever.
You know what? I don't like the tone of that. But everybody in the comment section, hit that like button, pound the share button. Blake works his ass off. And Allison, well, I'm not going to talk about her butt because that could be like sexual harassment. So Allison kicks butt. Blake has a nice butt. Big, black, beautiful, bald head. And I'm going to tell you this real quick, Blake. Don't sleep on them Seminoles.
Well, you're going to try to throw salt in my Tar Heels. I see that. No,
I like how he says that and then leaves.
Yeah, he did. He said, it's like, he's like, from the grave, you can never get me back. He just leaves out of there. If you're just tuning in, it's the Sports Talk 49 live. We just got harassed by the dude, unfortunately. And he comes in, you're not the same once he gets out of here. I'm with my co-host, co-star, co-everything, Swiss Army knife, Allison, kill shot, Koehler.
You're getting it, man.
Yep, Koehler.
Awesome.
The kill shot.
Yes.
And she's, make sure to finish off your list there before we go to commercial break.
Yeah. It was basically, I was talking about the Bucs, and just the main question with Fournette going to the Bucs would be the offensive line, like you and I talked about on last week's show.
Mm-hmm.
It's iffy. So not only if they were to bring Fournette to Tampa Bay, not only would they have to be mainly concerned about keeping their golden boy upright, but they would have to be able to block for Fournette. So that's the only question that I have in terms of him, landing potentially in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think like Rick and them said, Peter last night, anything's a possibility. I'm sure they're going to look at it. And I'm sure Rick is absolutely right. Just like I mentioned with Suckup, I think people think a lot more into things than it's not. Like I was saying with Suckup, I guarantee he got off the plane, came straight here, kicked, and got a contract. Same thing with the Fournette. They're at practice. He's not looking at ESPN at practice.
No.
I said somebody probably said something to him, or he looked at his phone and saw the update. A lot of them don't even look at social media, to be quite honest. A lot of them don't even look at Sports Center, but I'm sure somebody told him, hey, Fournette became available, And then and from there, that's why he said, "Hey, we'll see how it looks." I mean, I think Rick was right. That's pretty much how it goes. But yeah, anything's in the realm of possibility for any team if they're hungry enough and they feel he fits your need.
Yeah, there's no problem with just picking up a phone and finding out, what the dealio is with Fournette's agent, whoever that guy may be. So I would imagine most teams have just picked up the phone just to kind of get a feel for, a potential relationship. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So far, nothing. But it is only 7 after 4.
Yep.
So, but again, I do sort of feel like it's going to be one of those situations where he's going to end up with a team in season versus signing with a team before the season begins. That's just my opinion on it.
And I agree with it. I think he's going to sit and wait since he's sitting in the driver's seat right now. And he can pick and choose where that's it. Lean back with the seat back, everything. He can pick where he goes, and I'm sure he's going to try to find somewhere he can fit. Not sure if he wants to do it short term or is he trying to find something long term. Usually money is a good indicator, but I mean, he comes from the LSU, and I'm sure he wants to win and find somewhere where he can win.
Yeah, my opinion on that is that I do believe he's going to be one of those guys who bounces around. I think wherever he lands this year, it's going to be just a temporary thing. That's why I sort of feel like, with the Steelers, because really that's the part that they're most unsure about is their run game. And obviously they're in it to win it right now because they have a lot of high priority free agents next season. So that's why I sort of feel like it would be ideal for him to go to Pittsburgh, because it would just be, for 16 games, 17 games into the playoffs. And then they would just say, okay, see you later. Go wherever you're going to go. So.
And we talked about that last week too. I think Pittsburgh's in really grind time right now, and they got a lot of big decisions coming up. With once Ben's contract comes off, the Steelers are going to go in the whole rebuild mode. Well, securing the bag with your own guys. I'm looking more at Cameron Hayward there, securing the bag, keeping your guys there, your Steeler guys there, and then while adding depth everywhere else, and then finding a replacement for Ben, which is, honest to my opinion, is not on that roster currently. So I'm not sure they're going to pick up one of these veterans in free agency or where that's going to come from, but the Steelers are going to have a nice transitional period here in the future.
Yeah, and that'll be too, because Ben, sort of like Brady, is saying now he's got a lot left in the tank. He still has his current contract doesn't expire until the end of next season, so he's a free agent officially until 2022, and he may still say, he'll only be 40, like Tom Brady's setting the bar now. So situations where, after the elbow, he says he feels better than he ever has. So it is possible that he could end up saying, hey, I want to play for 2 or 3 more years. And if he's able to sign for maybe, I know Tom Brady took some pay cuts when he was in New England. If he wants to stay in Pittsburgh and possibly win some more Lombardi trophies, that would be the way to go about it, because right now they're paying him a lot of money, and he's a lot of the reason why they can't afford to pay a lot of their other players. So, and
especially a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick that fits that Troy Polamalu role 110%. With all that, we'll go into a quick break and show the sponsors. Just like the dude said, you ain't going to have sponsors if you don't play them. So we'll do that. Let Allison and myself get a drink, because I don't look like I've been eating powdered donuts every time. And we'll be right back. And we're back just like that. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk 49, live every Tuesday on Bucs Report. I'll bring Allison back on here, but I just want to give another shout out to all my sponsors here. Our Bucs Report's official sports bar, the Deck Bar and Grill at Isa del Sol. Also giving a huge shout out to our sponsor, mycannabiscard.com, Tampa Bay's leading cannabis clinic. Their cannabis clinic network is among the broadest in the nation and was developed to making getting your cannabis card easy and stress-free as possible. My Cannabis Card effectively links new patients with closest state licensed medical marijuana doctor near them, while also saving them up to 30% cost. Just mention Bucs Report, mention Peter Blake, mention myself, or any one of these fine people here on Bucs Report, and they will take care of you. As the dude said, there'll be all types of contact stuff you can call directly and things like that. It's all a work in progress. So let's continue with the show here and get Miss Allison back on. There we go. And all right, we talked about Fournette, trouble in the Big Easy. Talked about kicking. Real quick, I just wanted to say that the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Tampa Bay Rays, it seems like the Bucs is the only one that's got to follow suit with the winning right now.
No doubt.
And that's coming up. I'm not gonna go long into them. I just want to say Lightning advance, finishing off Pittsburgh 4-1. Sorry, Joshua. They either play the winner of the Islanders or the Flyers. And Tampa Bay Rays are, I think, first in the AL, second overall in MLB with a record. They have really turned it on since starting 4-6 since the last time we talked about them.
Oh.
And they were fourth in the AL and the fourth in their division. They're now first in the AL and are on a roll and just beat the Yankees yesterday. So they're winning here in Tampa Bay. So let's see if it keeps going. It'd be crazy if all three sports end up playing big games at the end of their season. Well, Lightning are at the end. We'll see if they make the finals. And same thing with Rays and the Buccaneers. Be interesting how that works out.
Yeah, back where I was born and raised in Cleveland, and there was a time there where the Cavs had LeBron, and the Indians were doing very well. So it was one of those situations where they're like, okay, so are the Browns is this gonna be the Browns season? And of course it wasn't, because the Browns will always Browns. And so really it was just one of those situations where it was basketball and baseball for a bit there. So.
And I think it was LeBron and Dwayne Wade made that bet with the Cubs and the Cleveland Indians of the bet, and they had to wear the other jersey, whoever won that series, which was kind of cool because both of their state teams were playing, and nobody would have saw that coming, especially the Cubs. But I think Back to the Future was only a year off, where they predicted in the movie where the Cubs were going to win the World Series after, 100-year drought, whatever it was for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, it was a long time.
And then they did it with Tampa Bay's old coach, Madden. So interesting how things turn out that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get. I know you sent me a tweet earlier. We can either go into that, or do you want to go into the division stuff?
It's up to you. I can go either way.
Let's. You know what? Let me go into the comments here. I saw somebody have a little crush on you in here. I wanted to make sure you saw that. All right, Stun Lightning over Bruins all day. Christopher Cole, what's up, guys? I'm outside listening. I appreciate it. Rick, I got today. You said have myself committed. I do all the time, Rick. I got issues, man. You know that. The Bucs cap room doesn't exist anymore. What are you talking about? This is Madden. You can turn the salary cap off. Rick Hughes, yeah. I'm totally agreeing with you on the Saints having a down year. You think so, Allison? Yeah. You with me on that? You think they're gonna have a down year? Charles Richardson, Bucs will have their issues. They seem to be unstoppable, but don't just look at them on paper. Everyone's got the gel. Oh, you preaching to the choir, man.
Right. And Charles is a Jets fan, so
yeah, you preaching to the choir. I know people are excited, and you got actually quality players, especially at the quarterback position, but everything is as it is, as Arian says. They haven't done shit. You haven't thrown a pass yet. So we'll see. Stun. I like the training camp highlights. We're gonna make them explode. We're gonna make an explosion on the league. Hey, we'll see. Don't be so harsh on yourself. You're a beautiful man, Blake. And man, I appreciate that, Rick. I appreciate that. Especially I saw when you showed your young picture. I said when you look like an old light-skinned Rick James, you was looking good in there. When I saw your photo, all I could hear is "Give it to me, baby." The Bucs kicking is cursed. I agree. Ever since Matt Bryant, when they fired him after his son died, I agree with that. Just a Matt Gay's good, but he hit or a miss kind of kicker. That's what happens when you get those guys with them big legs. Same thing like with quarterbacks with strong arms. Think you can make every throw instead of trying to make the accurate throw with those who don't have such a strong arm. It's tomato with that thing. Oh, there it is. Yep, Allison. Somebody's got a little heart there for you, Allison. So you can send your phone number on the DM later, Allison, just so you can do it now. Alex Bartholomew. What about Drew Brees and Jacob Blake helmet nonsense? Oof, I don't know. I'm not gonna really get into that right now, but at the end, I don't think that issue is gonna go away. I think somebody else is gonna bring it up again. I was surprised. Honestly, I was surprised the NFL didn't make a stand on it since after what they did to Kaepernick for the same issues. But it's I don't know. They got enough going on in New Orleans, and it's, as I said before, there's some type of disconnect down there that I just feel personally. Does Fournette have a 5th-year option? I think the Jags owe him that $4 million regardless.
Right.
I think he's going to get that from the Jags, as Allison said earlier. Soon they're not going to owe him anymore, but it's right now he's got that money in his pocket. Oh, Alex Fleming, keeping it real, Blake Anthony. Hey, I'm trying to keep up with Allison. All right, Allison, let's go into the division winners and playoff predictions. Who you got in the AFC winning their divisions, and then who you got squeaking in those last wild card spots?
Yeah. So for the AFC North, I actually have Baltimore winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like, and obviously for those who don't know, in the past there's been a 12-team playoff format, which they expanded this offseason to 14 teams. So in the past, there were 6 seeds from each division, and now they're going to be 7 seeds from each division. So I sort of feel like each conference. So I sort of feel like there's going to be some crappy teams. It could be, expanding the playoffs could result, in some 7-9, 8-8 teams that maybe don't deserve to be there, but could come on strong, toward the end of the season. That could be the situation. The Steelers would have made it last year at 8-8 if the new playoff format that's starting this year had been last year. So again, I have the Ravens winning the AFC North. I feel like the Steelers are gonna. My prediction is the Steelers are going to squeak in with the wild card. AFC South, I have the Titans because they're just the best team, I think, in that division. The Colts are a big question mark because we don't know what Phillip Rivers is going to look like, with his new team. So that's going to be interesting. I sort of feel like the Texans may end up winning the wild card or getting the wild card in from the AFC South. The AFC East is Bills. Hands down. I mean, you look, there's the Dolphins, the Patriots, Jets. Nobody really knows what the Patriots are going to look like. I just don't see.
And Belichick's not going to give no signature, as I just looked earlier when I was running in the gym this morning. He hasn't mentioned the starter. I said, shocker, shocker. He's not going to let you know what their offense is going to be like. Don't expect to hear who's going to start till Sunday.
Yeah, and that's just how it always rolls. You know what I mean? He keeps to his sleeve, and that's cool. That's cool. I gotta respect that. Out of the AFC West, Chiefs. I mean, without hesitation, I had to look to see who the Chargers quarterback was, because I was trying to pick that third.
They're trying to figure out who the quarterback is, so don't feel bad scratching your head. They don't know.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I was trying to figure out who's going to get that third wild card, and I sort of, because I don't think it's going to come from the East. It could, But my prediction is that it's going to be the Broncos. They were solid. Drew Lock seems to be, he seemed to be coming on there at the
Had
end.
a bomb draft.
Right. Yeah. So that's how I see it. So AFC North, Baltimore, AFC South, Titans, AFC East, Bills, AFC West, Chiefs, and then I have the Steelers, the Texans, and the Broncos squeaking by with the wild card.
Those are good picks. Mine was tough too. I got the NFC East. I got the Cowboys. As much as it hurt my soul to say that, Carson Wentz is already hurt. I don't know if Jalen Hurts. I would like to see Jalen Hurts come in there and light it up. But right now, with what the information I have to go with the Cowboys. Because the Giants, unless something foreseen happens, I don't really think it does. And the Redskins, I'm not even going to. I'm in the Redskins. There I go. Washington, that team is just in disarray. I'd be really shocked that they win 7 games this year. But they got Ron Rivera, and I'm hoping for the best for him. But we'll see. I got Cowboys in that division. I got the Bucs and the NFC South, of course, because I told you before I had the Saints, but ever since I had that feeling and all this stuff going on, I don't pick them winning that division anymore. Atlanta could do something. Atlanta is a shocker every now and then, but we'll see how it goes with Ty Gurley and everything. NFC North got the Vikings. They just picked up Ngakwe from the Jaguars. And they got a pretty solid team. Picked up Justin Jefferson, replaced Stephon Diggs. And I think that they didn't really have any setbacks this year, minus Pierce, their defensive tackle, free agent defensive tackle that they picked up that opted out for COVID reasons. And here's the interesting one. Out west, everybody wants to pick Niners. I got the Hawks. Can never count them guys off. Got the Seahawks winning that division. Tendency shows in the league, Super Bowl losers don't tend to do too well the next year. And that was the San Francisco 49ers. And so I got the Seahawks taking that one. Now here comes the fun part. The wild card. And that was tough, man. This one was real tough. I have to go with, as of right now, I have to go with the Saints as a wild card. I have to go with the 49ers as a wild card. And this one was fun, but it was between 2 teams. The Packers was one of them. I really think they're going to have a setback year because they're changing to a predominantly run division, which they could prove me wrong. But I want to go on a limb and say the Lions squeeze in that last wild card spot. That's what I want to say. The Lions squeeze in that last playoff spot.
You're always surprised, coming out of Blake, I'm telling you.
As you said, some crappy teams going to slide in there. As I was like, okay, she must be reading my mind. So I got the Lions sliding in there because the Packers. I don't think in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is very happy with what happened with the draft and the way the direction's going. Which is funny, is because the same thing happened to Brett Favre when he was brought there. The same exact thing happened. So I mean, interesting.
Yeah, it was a real surprise when the Packers took a quarterback because I was like, no way.
Nobody saw that coming.
I was shocked.
And then after 2 seasons, the Packers owe Rodgers no money, no guaranteed money, and he could easily be released. And I know a lot of Tampa Bay people said here after the 2 years with Tom Brady, they could pick up Aaron Rodgers at 33 years of age. And they kind of do this thing I've been calling rent a QB type thing. Right. Instead of, I said it before, I said, if you're paying a quarterback $500 million, it kind of changes, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I said the running back market goes up with that because nobody's going to pay that much money for that. Or you rent a QB. And when I say rent a QB, you get a game manager, a decent guy that can win you games when you need to. And you invest everywhere else on your roster. Because to me personally, I don't want to pay a quarterback $500 million and my defense sucks. I have no offensive line. I have nothing else. So now my quarterback has to do all of the work. And that's not going to happen every game because if everybody's not performing, he can't perform the way he needs to. So in my opinion, I'd rather have a total team of good players rather than just one great quarterback and everybody else is questionable. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You definitely have to have, you got to have all parts in order to have success. And really all parts is just quarterback and defense.
Yeah, true. That is true.
you know, obviously you got to be able to run the ball a little bit, but it's all about the QB and the D. That's how I see it.
You got to put up points and you got to stop people from scoring.
Exactly.
And then your offensive line has to somewhat keep your quarterback off his back. So, I mean, and that's not always the case here because some teams like Minnesota Vikings, that's their only issue is I think their offensive line, it was pretty horrendous last season, but it picked up pretty well near the end of the year. But where we at? Oh, Dallas. Since we're talking about Dallas, what do you think about the no names and no numbers on the Dallas jersey? I got a photo too. I can put it up here too. What do you think about this crap?
It's weird, man.
They talking about week 1 for McCarthy's first game.
Oh, so they're saying doing it in game?
In game.
That's weird. So is that like a strategy thing? I saw it on the lineup for discussion today, but I don't really know what it's about.
He said McCarthy says what it's supposed to be for competition.
Right.
I find it interesting, or maybe it's just a practice thing. I didn't read too much in it because I told you I can't stand Dallas, but I can't. There's no names and no jerseys. I don't know. You usually want to see their names, especially if you're talking about practice purposes, so you know who everybody is for that reason. Because you got a lot of people you don't know, and 70 plus players out there. It's interesting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's talk about that tweet you sent me earlier.
Yeah. So there's been a little bit of, we had that scare a couple weeks ago where there was a rash of players that suddenly tested positive for COVID. And obviously it turned out that they were false positives. Mm-hmm. So thankfully, there was no huge outcome from it, but
Matthew Stafford was one of those, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the scary thing is that the main thing that came from it was what if this happens during the season? What if he, test positive and he can't play on Sunday? So they came up with a workaround, and essentially what it does is if your star player gets a false positive result on a Saturday, the team could know, well, it would be positive, but they would test them again, and the team would know within hours if it was indeed a false positive, and then the player could play on Sunday. So I think it was a good thing that happened because they had to figure out, okay, what if this happens during the season? They had to have a protocol for that in season because obviously that's the most important time of the year. So
right.
You want to have a player who tests positive, sit out the game, and then find out the next day that it was a false positive, and that could just So I think the NFL, is doing a very good job
covering the bases.
We talked about last week. It's all about when they break from camp and what the players end up doing individually on their own because there is a little bit of time between camp and the season. So hopefully they're smart. And because everybody knows that they want to play. So hopefully they'll just be smart about, their time away from the team and we'll have a full season. That would be really, really cool.
Yep. And piggybacking on what Alice is talking about is also ESPN reported 4 players plus 6 coaches reported today per ESPN tested positive for COVID. And Allison sent me a tweet, and I'll put this up here and I'll read from it for you. I can't even pronounce his name. By Tom, translation for Mike Gallafaro and everyone who dozed off while reading. If your star player gets a false positive result on Saturday, as what you were just talking about, the team could know within hours that he's still good to play Sunday. The NFL sent clubs updated COVID-19 protocols that allows players and other team personnel with a preliminary process, quote unquote, test to return to the club facilities the same day. If a rerun and a point of care test both come back negative per sources, streamlining with season 10 days away. Mm-hmm. And just pretty much what Allison just broke down seconds ago. So like we just both said that they're covering their bases for those false positives because that could ruin a game, ruin a season with somebody false testing positive. let's just say your quarterback goes out,
Mhm.
and you're left with your backup, and
Mm.
then you lose a game, especially like a division game, which counts as two. Come back and bite you in the rear later. So it's a good thing that they have some type of plan in place. And I know a lot of people don't give props to it, but I got to. You got to give props when props is due. The NFL has really surprised me with this whole COVID-19. I had no idea that they would handle it this great, especially football being that much of a contact sport. They didn't go to a bubble. They didn't do none of that. I thought people would be testing positive all over the place. It would be a hot mess, and it is nothing like that. So I want to make sure to give props because I've taken my fair shot of jabs at the NFL, and I got to be both. I got to do both sides. I got to give them props for handling the situation. I don't know if it's really the NFL or is it really the clubs that prepared themselves. But either way, they've done a great job.
Yeah, I have to step away for 1 second.
Go for it.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good, Allison. And there it is. Well, it's almost about that time. Anyway, I'm not sure if Allison had any more time, but if you haven't followed me before, make sure to check me out every Tuesday at 3:30. Follow me on my social media site at BlakeAnthony49. Check this out, right? Yes, I'm the gadget man. I got all types of gizmos and stuff that pop up on my screen all the time, so you got to excuse me. I can't help myself. Technology. My old man try to keep up with the young guys. And I think I do a pretty good job of it. Allison, I hear you laughing at me.
Technology is great until it's working, and then we all freak out. So be able to have that backup plan.
You always do. You always got to have a backup plan, and then especially with it was fun. I know you enjoyed it. Now me and you were both like a sponge when we had Mike Deason on here talking about his broadcasting and era as a way it started, black and white film and all that type of stuff. It's just, and he's just amazed that you can do all these things now from the comfort of your own home. And we were talking with him off air, talking about, he was like, where are you at? I was like, I'm at home. He was like, what do you got? He's like, you got a green screen? I was like, yeah, man. I said, so you can do all that stuff now from home. You ain't got to go to the studio, Mike, everything. And he said, I ain't got quite the, the backdrop like you, where you got 12 Emmys back there. I don't think you really need any green screen with that. I mean, that's enough right there.
That was very impressive.
Yeah. He said, oh, those things, those old dusty old things. But it was just awesome having on there, and you got his movie coming out. Good for me, good for you, good for me, bad for you. And then his the movie coming out about abused elephants, which is awesome. Hardest working man in show business.
No doubt.
Yeah, like you said, there's no retirement, but it's fun, like you said. And you're talking about sports and things like that and broadcasts. I mean, do you really want to call it work? I mean, it's fun. Especially you're a football girl. You like the Steelers, and you grew up you said Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yeah, Ohio. Ooh.
I mean, are you a Ohio State fan too?
I actually never got into college football. Oddly enough, as much as I love the pros, I really don't pay very much attention to college until it's time for them to declare. And then I'm like, ooh, who are the Steelers going to pick up, So
you got to twist the NFL in there somewhere. You're like, oh, Steelers could use that kind of guy.
Right. So I watched the combine intently when they show the various phases on NFL Network, because that's the first time I've seen some of these guys. So, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Oh, I did have some camp notes. I said Hudson consistently making catches with Griffin. That's why I had Tanner Hudson on here before. Oh, there was something I wanted to point out. I think you said kickers need love. I don't know if you saw the interview with Tanner Hudson. When I asked him, I said, did you ever think you would catch passes from Tom Brady? He said, absolutely not. He said, because I was a kicker and switched to a tight end. So
I did see that. I did not know that he was previously a kicker. So
kicker switched to Taiwan. I think he was probably a kicker when he went to Memphis, and then switched when he went to South Arkansas. South Arkansas, I think, not South Dakota, South Arkansas, I believe. It's a little smaller college. Also, I had with camp notes, rookie Benning Poe had a sack on Brady yesterday, and Keyshawn Vaughn, rookie running back that everybody, Yeah, sack. You can't really touch him.
Like,
But I don't think Brady's exactly
Brady.
outrunning anybody either, but
Quarterback in camp, like, oh,
you whiffed him.
right, exactly.
And I think Peter and Rick were talking about on Peter's show. They hadn't heard nothing about Keyshawn Vaughn. Well, I got up news for you. Keyshawn Vaughn had a nice big run up the middle with a great burst to escape down the sideline. So he is performing in camp. Yes, he is behind the 8 ball because he was one of the first to test positive for COVID around when all that came out. But he seems to have found his way now. We think we got through everything today, Allison, with flying with good fashion too. Good time. Yeah. Look at this organization. We're getting better here.
Mm-hmm. We are.
So I guess we'll get you out of here, get on your day, and I can finish up mine. You want to put out what you got going on there, where they can find your stuff and all that stuff, because you are USA Today Steelers Wire with Allison Koehler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, if you go to SteelersWire.com, I've been writing lately, starting actually today, for Touchdown Wire, which is the overall umbrella for all of the NFL sites. So if you're just looking for something, if you're not necessarily a fan of a team, or if you love a team and you still love the NFL, go to touchdownwire.com. That is where my 7 potential landing spots for Leonard Fournette listicle is. But otherwise, if you're a Steelers fan or just like to read about the Steelers, go to SteelersWire.com and you can find all my stuff there.
Awesome. Well, appreciate having you here, and we'll catch you next week if you're available. Yep, and good. I wish you the best of luck in your interview and all that stuff. I hope with that process, and hopefully you can get on here and we could talk about you getting the job.
Right.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're not going to jinx anything. We'll play it as here. I'm really happy, to have you on here, and it's fun seeing you face to face again and just talking like we used to. And with the whole COVID thing, I know Peter misses being out there at these remote events and just talking sports with people you like and people you love. It's just fun to do that stuff. So it's fun to have you on here for Tuesday.
Thank you. I enjoy being on here.
All right, Allison, you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
Yep. And there she is, Allison Killshack Koehler. See, I'm getting it right. I'm getting it. I don't know why it just rolls off the tongue so much easier. Koehler, but it's not. It's Koehler. Look at that. I'm getting it. Eventually, I can get it. He can learn something. An old dog can learn new tricks. Let me get to the comments a little bit here. I don't want to ignore you guys, and then we'll get out of here. Fleming, I'm not sleeping on Arizona. I'm just not ready to commit to them yet, just because you picked up wideouts. Keeping it real. We talked about that 420 time at CannabisCard.com. Absolutely. MyCannabisCard.com sponsor Sports Talk 49 and BucsReport.com right here on Bucs Report. Tampa Bay's leading cannabis clinic. Their cannabis clinic network is among the broadest in the nation. It was developed to make getting your cannabis card as easy and stress-free as possible. My Cannabis Card effectively links new patients with closest state-licensed medical marijuana doctors near them, also saving them to 30% on evaluation costs. Just mention Bucs Report. And always make sure to check out the remote location at the Bucs Report's official sports bar and grill, the Deck Bar and Grill at Isa Del Sol. And make sure to check out Big Al Keck later on tonight, following up to finish it up with the game-winning layup. Peter Blake and the Sports Web. Make sure to check those guys out later. I think the dude was talking about who's the guest. I think it's going to be Rick. As always, Rick Hughes giving the flavor, the soul. And so he does got a lot of soul. Rick's got soul, man. I like it. He's a no-nonsense guy. You got to love him. He's either you love him or you hate him. Sometimes you hate him more, but I love him. What's happened in sports and entertainment? Last year, everyone had the Falcons win a division. Guess what? Saints again. Until someone takes them down, they are division champs. I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that one. Why you say stuff that I can't argue with? Because I agree with that. Rick Hughes, he said he did not want other teams to be able to watch them in their young players since no other teams are broadcasting their training camp other than the Cowboys. He didn't want another team to scout. I guess that's a technique, I guess. Again, I can't stand them Cowboys, just like Stephen A. Smith. So I guess if that helps them win, great news about Vaughn. No problem. I can try to send you that later too, Rick, if you want to use it, to talk about later on Peter's show. Just hit me up before I head out to work a little later, and I'll make sure to get that to you because I got bad time remembering stuff sometimes because I try to do a million things at one time. Yeah, I got all that in. I wish I had a little bit. I could turn it on if you got. I don't know if anybody wanted to call in. I could turn the phone line on if you want. If there's really somebody that wanted to call in and spit out something real quick, I could. I got some time here. I know Deshaun always likes calling and stuff like that. I didn't turn it on, but I can turn it on. It's no big deal. Just making sure, checking all these comments here. And I just really say I appreciate all you guys checking out everybody and checking out Joshua Cole Allen doing a great job with all the stuff that he's got going on with camp and all that stuff. Great guy coming off the streets pretty much and coming in here running at 100% and along with everybody else here. And, you know, it's just really great to watch everybody work together with their own lives. You got Citro working on his masters. You got everybody doing their own, you know, they have their own lives and trying to do this at the same time. And, you know, a lot of people try to discredit, you know, a lot of people say we do it on our time. We have time, we have deadlines, we have times and things like that as well. So, you know, when people try to discredit stuff and stuff like that, it just don't think it's fair to say that because we put in just as much time and effort as the next man. As you can see, we're on 7 days a week here, and we all have set dates and times and things like that. I just wanted to say that it's really not for you fans. You guys are there and you love listening, just like I did before I did all this. I really started 2015, and it was horrible, the first video. Absolute horrible. And I think it was Winston's first preseason game. Off a webcam, it was just awful. And then looking back today, it's just great getting into journalism and making sure you're giving people credit for stuff and things like that. It's just awesome, man. Being a part of all that, talking to players, and just to see how far things go when even you don't have a lot of people in your camp. And it just shows. That's why I say always follow your dreams. Allison, to tell you firsthand, I'll be the first person there to help you succeed and give you what you know, it's resources and stuff that you need to get whatever you need, you know, doing videos and documenting and stuff like that. So it's awesome. Again, like I said, we'll get out of here. And we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk49. I appreciate everything you guys do with you. Make sure to check out Big Al Keck on the Al Keck Show, doing all the great graphics and things like that, wrapped up with Peter Blake and the Sports Web. And we always have, and we'll end this as we always do. Stay safe, God bless, and fire those